guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Game, and as some of you know me on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of In Case of Emergency, Wes's Path. So y'all, some bad news. I cannot roll back to before he and Wes slept together, so I'm just gonna have to deal with the consequences of that. Apparently I won't get a full Wes run, so I guess this is a Wes failure run, I guess. I don't know. We'll just keep going and see what we get. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Alright. You look over at Cedric to back you up. The same thing happened to me. Ever since I equipped the Boscia sword I recovered ages ago. I was wearing it today for the first time. It was cursed. It was making me sick. So the question is, what's making Allie the same kind of sick? Electra stares at you in disbelief, helping Allie to her feet. It's the ring. I remember being punched on the docks, the hard metal that collided with your jaw. Allie, can you take off your gloves? You figure you're on a nickname basis by now, considering you're about to save her life. What? You punched me earlier. You were wearing something underneath your gloves. Allie stares at you, unmoving. Her eyes flicker to Electra's, then back. You sigh. I promise. I'm trying to help you out here. Allie, if he's right... Allie narrows her eyes in distrust, but reluctantly peels both gloves from her hands. Sure enough, there's a ring at the base of her right ring finger. Kieran... I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say his name. Where did you get that ring? I gave it to her, as a promise. Their faces are red. Your eyes instinctively dart towards Wes. He catches your eye momentarily and turns towards the curtains. I love her. I would never try to hurt her. The ring belonged to my father, but it would have been mine eventually. I would rather it went to someone I cared about. Where did you get it? I told you. I took it off my father's finger last night. I thought he was just asleep, I swear. Right, but what about before that? Electra frowns. This is one of the heirlooms we recovered from the family tomb a few years ago. The same place where Cedric found the sword. She gasps. That's what's causing her to be sick. Take it off and she'll feel better. I hope you sound more confident than you feel if you're wrong about this. Electra quickly wriggles the ring off the other woman, tossing it at her feet before grasping Allie's hand with both of her own. Allie blinks a few times as though a fog had been lifted from her. Her voice is still raspy, but she manages. I feel a little better. Electra laughs in relief, pulling her close for a hug. She peppers her with kisses against... Oh, excuse me. Her nose and forehead. Allie scrunches up her face as she tries to hold back a smile. But my father, he wore this ring ever since we recovered it. He's never fallen ill. You nod. Not until you took it off. It's preventing him from getting sick because he's part of the family. It must curse any outsiders. So, all those nights he drank hemlock, he really was being protected by his Boscia blood. It's my fault for taking the ring from him. I poisoned him. Electra heaves a heavy sigh. You catch Allie squeezing her shoulder. You can't help but think of your own father in this moment. Maybe if you'd spent more time with him. This isn't your fault. You couldn't have known that he'd get sick. If I'd known... I know. So, what now? If I put the ring back on my father, he'll be all right? We think so. It should start taking effect immediately. If you're going to leave, now would be the time to say goodbye. Electra hesitates, bending to the ground to pick up the ring. She turns it over in the palm of her hand as she stares at it. If you want, we'll take the ring. We'll give you two a chance to run before we put it back on. But then I won't be able to speak to him before we leave. Want to? Electra chews her bottom lip in thought. I heard the last time you talked to him, you changed your mind about running away. Oh, I heard the last time you talked to him, you changed your mind about running away. He's not going to die, Electra. You can write to him once we're far away from here. But if you don't want to make up your mind, he is going to die. Let's see. Leave now. There's no point sticking around if it'll only make her unhappy. You should just get out of here. We'll take care of the ring. We won't tell anyone where you've gone. Electra nods as she presses the ring into your hand. Allie shoots you a grateful look as she leads Electra by the arm. Let's go. The two of them escape out the window of the room, scaling the trellis that leans against the wall. You watch them disappear into the horizon before settling into the spot by Lord Boscia's bed. Well, here goes nothing. Sliding the ring onto his finger, you hear from his form inhale. His breath begins to settle into a steady, healthy rhythm, his eyes fluttering. Hi, Lord Boscia? Funny story. 1 second, y'all. It is coffee time. Oh, it's so good. Good cup of brew. After a long night of daring escapades, you finally retire to your room. The bed is hard. It's the exact stiffness of the vinyl mattress in your dorm, which is oddly comforting. You're so exhausted, your bones so weary that it would be impossible not to fall asleep immediately once you got under the covers. It would be impossible to stay up any longer than you already have. You've been running around all day. You're tired. Too tired for your thoughts to keep you awake. Like, what's up with you and Wes? Are you guys together? Were you ever a thing? You feel like you've broken up without ever having had a real relationship. In fact, you know what you haven't thought about in a while? Wouldn't it be a true feat of endurance to stay up thinking about Dad right now? It would take immense willpower to replay all your greatest hits. Like, how are you, Kieran? Fine. Good, good. You need anything? Not really. Snacks? Are you eating okay at school? Yeah, it's fine. How's your dorm room? You like your roommate? Do you have enough space for your stuff? Dad, I already told you, I'm fine. Okay, if you say so. You know, I don't tell you this often, but hang on, my roommate just came back. He's so annoying. I have to go. I'll talk to you later. No problem. I'll talk to you later, kiddo. Dude, I told you, you can't hang your wet socks on the windowsill. You've remembered this conversation every day for the past 2 months. You're starting to forget when you first came down to Peregrine, but now the memories are back again with suffocating intensity. It's like 70 days in a row. It has to be some kind of record, right? Is it normal to feel like you're drowning in memories of people that don't exist? Hey, everything's cool between us. I'm just afraid of commitment, and that makes me hurt other people as a result. We should make out again. Not sure what the point of coming down here is if you can't escape your own head. Are you ever going to get out of here? Are you ever going to get out of there? Are you even supposed to? You wish there was someone to tell you what to do. Not everyone has the privilege of being able to escape the real world, jackass. But alas, that is the burden we take on. We must raise up the downtrodden so that they may partake in our worlds. See, this guy gets it. Privileges such as the chance to romance the fair maidens of this land. We shall sally forth, our banners held high, so that we might fight for the hand of a lovely lady. Or man, or someone who doesn't identify as either, and we don't need to speak over them. Not at all! Our good deeds will speak for themselves. They will speak to the chaste, courtly nature of our love and its ability to preserve through hardship. We are the purest realization of chivalry. We are what it means to be kind, to be noble, to be men of God. Ha! Your pursuits of courtly favor are painfully moral pastimes. To truly approach God, one must disavow such earthly desires. God has left behind scripture for us to read and copy. There can a man find the shortest proximity to his light. Fortunately, it is not the piety of one's spirit that makes one a knight. Any common man can be pious. It is a warrior spirit that makes the man a knight. Who? No, wait, before we go any further, I have another question. Are any of you guys okay with gay people? No. I feel like hand stuff. Oh. No, I agree. I think a little hand stuff with the homies is okay. What in the world are you talking about? You know, the Greeks. Well, what the hell am I doing here then? Do I even belong here? Maybe if we could fantasize about a medieval past that was less heteronormative. Did Alan Turing belong in the mid-century? You don't belong anywhere. You just have to get used to that. Kieran, go to sleep. Where do we go when we dream? The androids dream of electric sheep. Second, y'all. Coffee time. But what if I talk in my sleep? Or worse, what if I walk? There's a word for that. Somnambulance. Balance. I don't know. You can go to sleep or you can help me wash the dishes. Good night. That's what I thought. Do you have everything packed for school tomorrow? It's gonna be your first day of high school. Yeah, I know. You don't have to, narrate my life. I know what's going to happen. Okay, I packed you a lunch. It's in the fridge. When's Mom coming back? You liked her food better? Not really. She can't cook either. Yeah, well, I guess I got that from her. She won't be back until I leave for college, so you're going to have to stay with Dad until then. Ugh, but who's going to do the dishes in the meantime? I'm sure you'll figure something out. We all have to grow up at some point. I already have. If you say so. Don't forget to do the dishes when I'm gone, okay? Good night, Kieran. Such an odd character. The morning comes too quickly. The sun has already crested the horizon by the time you roll yourself out of your shift covers. Ugh. Downstairs, the rest of your party is already packed and ready to go. Wes stands across the room from you, deliberately avoiding eye contact. Good morning. We all slept well last night, I trust. Everyone grumbles something without much enthusiasm. You're running on 24 hours of a road trip, when most of the initial novelty is already worn off, and now you're trapped in a car with people you're not sure you ever liked in the first place. Luke adjusts his arm, where you spot a book tucked under it. You must have found something last night. As you head out into the city, you see that the bridge that runs over the river has been lowered since last night. A line of merchants has already formed. People jostle to get their goods moving out of the city, but to the back onto the road. You wonder if they know about the impending apocalypse. The 5 of you come to a standstill at the very back of the line out of the city. Remus sighs as he surveys the wagons towering with sacks and crates. I don't like doing this. He straightens, rolling his shoulders back as he reaches for his crown and gently lifts it from his head. Heads of the crowd turn in unison, and a murmur begins to rise from the crowd. That's the king! What is he doing here? One man gets to his knees and fully prostrates himself. Remus jerks his head towards the other end of the bridge, motioning for the party to follow him. He slips easily through the crowd, the people parting around him like water. Excuse us. You make short work of the bridge until you escape back onto the dirt road. Ahead of you lies a wooded valley, and past it the slate-gray outline of a mountain range on the horizon. Grim Mountain. We make for a mouth that leads to the caves inside. The heart lies in the mountain's center. Thanks to your work last night, we can circumvent our former obstacles entirely. It's just through this forest now. Let us make haste. We may yet be early to the end of the world. Remus marches down the dirt road with a pep in his step, having apparently recovered from his disappointment from earlier. Luke gives you an amused look, like he's the one actually babysitting you all. In the forest, the thick trunks of moss-covered trees stretch toward the sky like fingers from the earth. The air is cool in the shade. The ground smells of fresh leaves and damp dirt. Your family used to go on hikes when you were a kid, not so much after Mom and Dad separated. So, anyone know any games to play? What? Like icebreakers? We already know each other. I have a song we can sing. If it starts with a number and rhymes with ladles of beer on the wall, I'd prefer not to. How about I Spy with My Little Eye, something that's small, brown, and a little too energetic for this time of day. My poop when I don't eat any vegetables? God. Gross. They sell fiber supplements, you know. Some of them even come in gummy form. I've never seen Luke willingly eat anything good for him. Once I ate one of my mom's frozen diet dinners. It came with cinnamon peach mash and everything. Only worth 3 points, too. These are your friends? Not the pious types, I take it. I could take at least 3 of them in armed combat. Kieran, careful. Remus puts an arm out in front of you, halting your mindless march through the forest. Second, y'all. Coffee time? What time is it, actually? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's alright. Oh god, almost went down the wrong pipe. Barely a foot in front of you is a patch of darkness, a small circle of void stuff that lies directly in your path. Remus steps forward to examine it, the leaves crunching under his boots. This is not the first I've spotted today. The resolution must truly be vile to pockmark the landscape like this. You push some dried foliage into the hole with your foot. You expect to see the leaves float down into something, but instead they're consumed as soon as they touch the void, like being engulfed by tar. Stick. You pick up a nearby stick and dip it into the hole, where it meets the void, and the stick disappears into inky darkness. When you pull it out, the stick is still intact. Something compels you to get closer, as though it's the only choice you have. You crouch down to your heels and brace one hand on the exterior of the hole. This is a bad idea. What are you doing? I do not understand. It's a metaphor for penetration. You know, like trains, missiles, skyscrapers, swords. No one stops you as you poke one finger into the hole. You expect to feel something, cold, pain, anything, but there's no sensation. You try to wriggle your finger to no avail. It's like it's gone. You pull out your finger in a panic, only to find that it's still attached. The sensation of nothingness proceeds as quickly as it appeared. So, have you sated your curiosity? I think so. One moment you're standing on solid ground, and the next, the ground disappears from under you. You flail for a grip, one hand just barely catching the edge of the surface that begins to crumble under your fingers. Everything is dark, and the world has gone silent. You recognize the lifeline under your hand as the dirt and grass you were standing on moments ago. Alright guys and gals, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!